Uno mas.
Oh, the stragglers.
What is up? So as you guys can tell, we're downloading data on the video right now. I'll put Smash gameplay up right now. So there's the gameplay, but we're waiting for Cyberpunk to finish downloading, and we can't do anything.
Yeah.
So
you think that'd be something that they would definitely
yeah, I wish they
on?
kind of fixed that to the point where we could play. I mean, it's entirely possible. I had the ability to play like games, and then eventually all the games just kind of like finished downloading while I was playing games. It just seems like a lot of the time, like it just doesn't work sometimes. So it's entirely possible for like the Switch 2 to have games download when you're playing a game. I just don't know the fundamentals of it, but either way, welcome back to the NerdVibed podcast. I'm hungry.
Me too.
So, yeah, I mean, Jake, you said you had things you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So
some updates.
Yes.
So
let's see if we can talk about all this in 36 minutes.
Yeah, so I got a couple movie reviews I
Okay.
watched. First of all, I did finish Battlefront 2, the thing I was talking about in the streams and Animal Crossing. I finished that. So usually when I come back from a session, I usually don't feel like playing video games. I'm just kind of tired and just want to just like chill.
Yeah.
But I was just like, so I was just kind of just doing my watching reels thing, and then it was like getting to like 2, 3 in the morning, and I was just like, I kind of had that like, dude, just do it. Like, just do it. You only have to get 500. Won't take you that long. So I hop on, and I did what I was planning on, which you will have to watch one of our streams to talk about it. I was just like, there's a lot of Vader hogging, and that was my main to doing this milestone achievement to get the Darth Maul skin. So I just if someone got Vader before me, I just left, because then also that's just kind of been like, yeah, I don't have time for this. Like, I want to be done with this by like 5, because I was getting up early for some stuff, and so I was just like, yeah. So I'm like, if you pick Vader before me, I'm just gonna leave and try to find another lobby or whatever, and it got to like maybe like 5:30, and I check. So I what I do is I don't like to, like, I don't know if you have this, but like if you're like trying to get like a certain number for something, you just like don't check, because you feel like if you keep checking, it's just gonna just feels slower.
Checking for what?
Like just like your stats or something like that. Because that's what I was doing. I would like not check how many I got, because
In terms of like kills or something?
Yeah. Because I had to get like 5,000, and like I would look at the end card to see how many eliminations I got in the match, but I know that it's not the actual total that I got as like for say Vader, but I just would not check my grand total of how many I got, because it would just feel like if I kept checking, it'd feel a lot slower, and it's just like if you don't check it, it just feels like you got a lot. So it got like 5:30 in the morning, and I checked. Remember, I still had to get up in the morning, so it was like I check, and I said I had like 4,970 something, and I was like, oh, I just need 35, and I was like, okay, one more, one more, and surely enough, I thought it was for like, there's a couple of maps that I'm just absolutely cracked at, so it was one of those maps I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, and I was manifesting as much as I possibly could, just manifesting, just like, I can do this, give me Vader, got Vader, and I'm like, and I locked in, and I did it, and I got the milestone, and I was like, then I opened up the loot box that had it in it. I felt so good. But yeah, that was like one of those things. I was just like, yeah, I'm just like, as soon as I'm done, I'm going right to bed. Like I'm done. Like
Yeah.
I did it. And then I guess I brought balance to the force because I did 5,000 for light side and 5,000 for the dark side. Brought balance. I got 2 of the hardest skins in the game, and I haven't played the game since then. Because I said before, I was like, I want to take a break and I want to finish Doom, which I'm gonna get to right now. So Doom: The Dark Ages, I had to finish 3 missions, and oh boy, I wasn't really feeling the difficulty until those last 3 missions. Granted, I was playing on normal difficulty, but I think the final boss, I was like kicking his ass, but then he was starting to do a lot of shit that would just basically melt my health and my armor, and I used all my 3 life sigils or whatever, which are basically like these tokens you get. You can only carry 3 of them, but you get these tokens that basically, if you die, you can spawn right back to where you died, like right in the middle of it. So it's like you don't have to restart like a checkpoint or whatever. It'd be like you're right back in the action where you died. So like you basically will still facing off against the enemies and stuff. But I literally used all 3 on the final boss. It was like insane. But cleared. Then there was like another mission. Then the one was like the actual final boss, which was like, it was the same guy, but not amped up. It was just him regularly. And yeah, so Doom: Dark Ages, my overall thoughts, fucking amazing. I still will stand that it is my favorite out of the new series so far. I haven't played 2016 fully. I only did like the first couple levels. I loved Eternal. I beat Eternal, and then Dark Ages just great. I cannot wait. Now I might go for the Platinum Trophy. For that one, because that one seems like the easiest out of all of them. So I might do that. But those 2 games took a lot out of me mentally, that I'm just like, I needed a gaming break once I was done with them. Just like needed a good break. And so I'm tempting to go back to Battlefront 2 to try to get some other stuff, or try to 100% Dark Ages, because I like the last 2 levels I was getting like 90, like, so I'm like really close with like the last few levels, because they do tell you where everything is on like a map. They just don't tell you how you get them. Basically, they'll tell you where something is, but it's like, it's always like you gotta find a key, but it's like, where's the key? You gotta figure out where to get the key. And but so yeah, it took me a month, but yeah, great game. But a couple movies I watched. I'm gonna start with the one that's the most obscure. Never even heard of this. Okay, so this I have a weird story with this movie. So I have this memory when I was like real little, maybe like 3, 4, maybe. This was definitely when I was living with my mom. So I was like, real little. So I remember my mom watching a movie, and there was this scene that again, to this day I still don't know if the movie I'm about to review is this movie, because when you're really young like that, you your memories are kind of finicky, fuzzy, and like you remember like visuals just differently than what they really were. And, but there is so I have this memory of my mom having this movie on the TV. This woman's like in a bathtub or whatever, and then she like convulses and transforms into like what my memory is just like very masculine, and it was just something just so scary. I remember just screaming and crying and begging my mom, who was on the phone, to like turn the movie off. And so I was on Prime Video. I'm on a gaming break. I'm bored as fuck. So I'm just on Prime Video. I'm looking through movies. And while I was watching the second movie I'm going to cover, when I end up watching, I saw this movie called May, and I see this poster, and I kind of look at the poster, and I'm like, is that the woman from the memory? Like, oh shit. So I'm like, so that made me watch this movie. Never heard of it. It was just that poster that I'm like, that it? Like, and you gotta remember, I've been looking for this movie for like 20 years now, just trying to figure it out, just like, and I don't think it's a movie. I don't think there's no bathtub scene or anything. So again, you could just be like, it was just my mind being fuzzy or something like that. But I just watched this movie. So the movie's called May. It came out in 2002. So that was like another clue for me. That I was like, it came out in 2002. So I was like, that's a little bit on the money. Like, it would make, if this was the movie, it's in the right time frame.
Yeah.
So I'll just explain this movie. So it's about this woman, and she has some trauma. Let's just say she's got some trauma. Don't know what, but she has a lazy eye, and as a child she had to wear an eye patch, and none of the kids want to be friends with her because they would be like, huh, are you a pirate? Or like, wow, this girl's got a lazy eye, that's weird as hell. And so on her birthday or whatever, her mom gifts her this doll, and this doll is creepy doll, that's in this like glass case, and the mom's just explaining, like, so this is the doll I made, and this is gonna come back later, but she tells something that just sticks with May throughout her life is just, if you can't make friends, I don't know what the exact wording was, but basically what she was saying was like, if you can't find friends, just make them.
Right.
With doll. So she kind of always takes that to heart. Now she's an adult. She works at an animal hospital, and she's pretty fucking weird. She's getting this like guess these new contacts to help correct her lazy eye, and we find out that she has a crush on this like guy who works at the repair shop near her hospital or whatever. And then she does some pretty like weird kind of things, like she's always staring at him, but she just has a thing with his hands. She just likes his hands. And this goes into this really weird scene where they're at like a coffee shop. It didn't look like a coffee shop, but they're at a coffee shop, and he falls asleep, and he's got his like fucking hand out like this or whatever, like he's just passed out. So she like she kind of like leans in and like kind of brushes her face against his hand. It's some really weird shit. Right. So that's how they meet. Eventually over the course they they talk, and then also there's at the animal hospital, she has a coworker who's gay, who's just always flirting with her, and then I think like the May, she's like, yeah, because that's her name. I did not point that out. she's just, she kind of flirts back too, in a way, but she's trying to see this guy, and they it's not good chemistry. It's not between like actors and actresses. It's just like their characters are just like, because she's just one of those like quiet weird that she just like if she says something, it's just like to herself or something, or just like she's just really awkward like that. She's just so like, she doesn't like talk a lot and stuff, and you get to the point that they're getting close, they do share a kiss, but she it was her first kiss, and it was kind of awkward,
right?
And she kind of like indirectly like pushes him against like the wall or something like that, and he kind of like, he's not like mad, but he's like what the hell, like but she she blames the doll, because like, even as an adult, this doll's her only friend. This doll's genuinely her only friend, and she just talks to it. It's not supernatural. It's just the doll just sits in that case and she just talks to it. And then just times where she'll like punch, she like hurts the glass and stuff, and so, and then it gets to, but then there's like another time where she goes over the lesbian's house, and they share something, and yeah, I guess it's just, but I'm kind of out of order, I guess. I don't remember much, but the guy breaks off with her because he he's a mechanic, but he's also, I think he's in college or something. He's like makes movies or whatever. So he shows her this movie he made about it was just, honestly, it was just like, it was like borderline like softcore porn, and they were just like, it was just about these two just constantly making out, but then it just escalates to cannibalism, and May just thinks that was so nice.
Yeah.
So they get back to his place. It's getting a little spicy, and then she bites him on the lip, and but really bad. Like he's like blood running down, and he's just like what the hell? And she's like, I wanted it to be like the movie, and he realizes and the whole time he's like, I like weird, I like weird, but he was like, okay, this is too far now, because it's like, now you're trying to reenact cannibalism. So he nopes out, and then she's like heartbroken. He kind of does the early 2000s thing of ghosting her, which is just like, she'll like call him, and she'll try to be like, you want to like get together, and he's just like, I have plans. And well, tomorrow maybe,
yeah.
Nowadays it's just you text them and nothing.
Yeah, they don't respond. Yeah.
But then she has this like kind of thing, but it's like they kind of didn't establish. I don't want to be like when did they say she was like bi or whatever, but I think it's just, I don't even know. They don't really make it clear. I think it's just her just so desperate for a connection, like she'll just try anything, I guess. That's just what it seemed. That like again, it's, her only friend's this doll stuck in a glass case.
Yeah.
But I guess she's like, now that because he dumps her, now she's trying to go with her, but she's like kind of this but she's still like banging other people. She invites like these girls to her house, but she like tries to tell me, no, it's not exclusive, she tries to like kind of do like a flirt, like I'll kick her out, but she's like, no, May's just clearly like so done with this, and then like this just kind of all this rejection. Oh, okay, and then there's another thing, is that besides working at the animal hospital, she decides to volunteer at like a daycare, and she works with like the blind kids, and it was going well, and then this dumbass decides to bring her only friend to school with blind kids. And she's trying to explain, like, oh, this is my friend. She's the doll. And the blind kids are like, take her out of the box. She's like, no, my mom said no. And she's like, and the kids, and like, they're like little kids. So they're just like, grabbing. And it ends up the glass breaking, the doll breaking, and her having like a mental breakdown. And it's just like, and then you can see, and they cut to like the other teachers or whatever in the back just looking at like this bitch is crazy. Mm-hmm. And I was totally with them because it's like they're kids, like, and they're blind.
Yeah.
They need touch.
Yeah.
You can't say there's a doll and be like, oh, it's only in the box. Like they can't see. They can't see. And it's like, oh man, but all this rejection and all this trauma starts finally getting to her head, and she ends up snapping and going on this revenge. Also, this revenge shit does not happen until the last half hour.
Okay.
So, because throughout this whole movie, I felt like I was watching this weird drama kind of thing. Like it didn't start getting into a revenge horror until the last 20-30 minutes in, and it was just like, so she. Well, first of all, I kind of felt bad for this girl until she took one of the cats from the hospital and she killed it by throwing. So one of the blind kids made her an ashtray because the guy got her into smoking. So now this guy got her addicted to nicotine, and so she's a smoker. So she makes her an ashtray. This blind kid, and she throws the ashtray at the cat and just kills it. Because she was trying to get her to oh, come here, and it hissed and ran off, so she just threw it, and I literally flipped off my TV. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel bad for you anymore. That was totally uncalled for. But yeah, so but anyway, that was the first thing. But then now she's just she pretties herself up, tries to do that thing, and now she's just I'm gonna go get revenge, and she's like, if I can't find any friends, I'm just gonna make one. And again, back to what her mom said, and she's always complimenting body parts, so you see where this is going. So yeah. She's going to each of the people who wronged her, and she just kills them and takes their body parts, and yeah, it didn't for me, it didn't work for me because I didn't feel bad because this was a grown woman who's still acting like a 5-year-old and clearly needed some psychiatric attention and couldn't get that. And so I didn't really... when she was killing these guys, I wasn't going yeah, let's go. It was just ugh, okay. It was just kind of because again, they've been building this up the whole movie, because she's obsessed with these people's body parts, and one of the flings with the lesbian, one of her flings, she was complimenting her legs, and yeah, it was just yeah, you just know she's just gonna chop them up, and so that's what she does. She goes after them, chops them up into pieces, and yeah, and then she sews them all together and makes a life-size doll for herself. And it ends with her flipping the fuck out over the fucking eyeballs. So she's like, oh my god, I can't see. You can't see me. So what she does is she grabs like a pair of scissors and she stabs herself in the eye and gives the doll her eye, which I think was the lazy eye, and that's how it ends. And it ends with her cuddling up against this disgusting fucking thing. This lame looking doll. Like, this is even... And it ends with it coming to life and caressing her on the cheek, and that's how the movie ends. And that was like the only supernatural thing, was just this thing just came alive, I guess. But oh boy, and when I was looking up on like Reddit of what people's opinions were of the movie, everyone's like calling it like an underrated cult classic or whatever, but I was just like, I'd probably give it like a 7. I just think the revenge stuff happened way too late in the movie, and it wasn't a revenge I really could feel sympathy for, because I just feel like most of the people who wronged her, it was literally her fault to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I didn't really feel bad, and then obviously they didn't explain what her trauma was either, so it was just like, so I didn't, so yeah, overall just good, I guess. I think if they did a remake, I hate to say that, but I think if they did a remake for like and changed some things, then it could be really good. But yeah, this might be for some people, but yeah, I think there's a lot better revenge movies out there than this one. If you're horror revenge, if you're into that fix. All right, but the last one, I'm gonna do the one that everyone's heard of that I actually never saw before. I watched The Shining for the first time, and pretty much seen as one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Absolute classic. I watched it for the first time, and yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I wouldn't put it in like my top 10, but I would be like, yeah, pretty good. So what's The Shining about? For those who don't know what that movie is, it's basically
somehow,
yeah, it's basically about this writer who gets this opportunity to look after this hotel, and this hotel is haunted by ghosts, spooky ghosts, and when I was watching it, I know this is completely like just an off-topic thing, but I don't know if we talked about this before, but when I was watching The Shining, I was thinking, most of the time I was thinking like, with Wendy, I was just like, man, Shelley Duvall is not ugly. I hate when people think that.
What, the woman in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she ain't ugly.
Yeah.
I was like, what's everyone smoking? And that was like me like the whole movie, just like, whoa. People think she's ugly? Like, man, it's crazy. Can't relate. But anyway, so, you know, him and his family, they're up on this remote mountain looking after this hotel, and over the course of time, there's a huge snowstorm, so they're snowed in as well, and, you know, everyone starts losing their fucking mind because of the ghosts. Especially Jack Torrance, which obviously everyone probably knows that already. That he's the one who's losing his fucking tweaking. And it's like, he'll be like, they kind of do this whole thing like, oh, the ballroom's empty, but then like late, he'll be like just walking around the hotel, just fucking tweaking out of his mind, and then he's suddenly he's in a party in the 1920s, and he's just like, whoa, yeah. Even though I'm drank, and the last time I had a drink, I hit my son. Give me some liquor, please. And Yeah, and then like, then you have like, pretty much, Wendy, who I felt bad for so much, like she's just caught in the middle of this because you have her husband who's tweaking the fuck out, like, and he spends most of his days just writing because he's a writer. Then you have the son who's also losing his mind because they really don't go into it, but obviously there's this the black guy who's like the head cook of the hotel who leaves, but he comes back to check in on them, which did not work out for him. But he's like he tells the kid like, oh, me and you have this magical power called the Shining, and we call it Shining, and that that's why it's called that. But I just feel like it didn't go anywhere, because it's like, well, that's how he sees the ghost, and it's like, well, Jack sees the ghosts, Wendy sees the ghosts at the end, so it's like, doesn't really feel that he's special or anything, and he doesn't like. I know he's 5, so I know I should cut them some slack with that, but again, it's just, you can't build up something being like, you have this rare power that makes you special, and you just don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I think that's why everyone likes the Doctor Sleep sequel a lot, because they actually follow up on the being like that power. But yeah, so Jack starts losing his fucking mind and ends up with him going full-blown crash-out psychotic that he's gonna try to kill his family, and the head chef, he comes up and then he gets killed. And then like the last chunk is just him chasing his family. Obviously the infamous like, here's Johnny, and yeah, not much I can say. This obviously one of the most well-known horror movies of all time, so I can't really speak much on like plot wise because I pretty much covered it, but so overall good movie. I'd probably give it an 8. My only gripe was obviously what I just talked about earlier, was just like, I just feel like them building up this like shining power and they really don't go anywhere with it, and also the transitions between like the time also really annoyed the fuck out of me, because then they'll be like in the middle of something and there'll be like a black, then the text just being like 1 month later, and you're like, what? And then they'll do another one, they'll be like Monday, and it's like, I kind of like lost track of like what day of the week it is, like, because they'll be like Thursday, and it's like, what, like, it's like I felt like it was just jumping all over the place. I'm just like, as a viewer, it was just like, feel like the next day, next month, like you gotta be simple like that. Like
I think it's just like a thing where it probably is better like construed and constructed in the book itself, but like the movie, for some reason they were just like, yeah, we'll just list the days out. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like if they actually put like what like the actual date of like the actual day, like the actual like what month it is and what, I think that would have been better, but it's just being like Thursday, and it's like, whoa, are we like in a new week? Like what's going on?
Because you just very carefully.
Yeah, because you said like 30 minutes ago it was like Monday or something. So are we just 3 days later? Like you could have just said 3 days later. Like
I would assume that would what it would mean.
It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like that was like that part, just the transitions into like the next like time skip was just, I think could have been done better. It was just like, it was just so like confusing, because it's just like, and it's clearly and it's weird because it's clearly shot like it feels like it's all in one day too. So it does seem like, or like at least like a couple days, but like it just seems like not much changed like to it. Obviously it's like, well, no shit, but it's like, if like, again, it just all felt like it was all set in like a day or two when it's reality. Like, no, it was a month later, and they don't really set in the mood that they've been here for a month, like that kind of thing. Like, it all feel like you could cut out all the title, like the transitions, and you can make it seem like everything that happens is in like a couple of days. Like, no shit. Like, you can't even like, are we really a month later? Like, they don't really make it seem like it was, but overall, it was a solid movie. That's just my personal criticism of it. And I just also, I know this is like, well, they were obviously doing this time period, but when they said the N-word, I was caught so off guard by that, and they're like, because Jack's in the bathroom with the ghost or whatever, because he like spelled something, and then he calls like the cook the N-word and hard R too, and I was just like, whoa, hey, wait a minute, like, because they're like, you know, the guy's coming to interfere with our plan or whatever, and he called him the hard R, and I was just like, whoa, hey, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
I know someone was like, well, it was in the 1920s, but I was just like, yeah, but I wasn't expecting the hard R drop in this movie. Pardon me. That caught me so off guard. I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. Then I was like, oh yeah. I still don't know what the hell the ending meant with obviously, you probably know, right? How it ended. The black and white picture. And they show like Jack was at the party in the 20s or whatever, and I still don't know what the hell that meant.
I honestly forgot everything about that movie, to be honest. I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, that's still an ending. I still don't know. I don't know if it meant like because he died, like all the souls are now, like, that's like, that picture is not of the party, but of like all the souls that are trapped in the hotel or whatever. That's what my guess is, but yeah, so overall, solid movie, but I could argue in some areas it's a little dated by today's standards, but still a classic, no doubt. But yeah, we got a minute left on Cyberpunk 2077 here.
Hell yeah, we do.
About time. So we're gonna wrap this up, and then we gotta get to Animal Crossing.
Yep. Oh my god. Yeah. So, what rankings would you give the movies?
So I said for May, I would probably give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and then Shining, I'd probably give it like, yeah,
you can finish up.
I'd probably give it like maybe an 8.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.